你好，今天再给你介绍一个我们在墨西哥路上偶尔遇到的一个瑞士加拿大人或者加拿大瑞士人，特别有意思。就在公共汽车上就开始跟我老公聊起来了，结果我们不知不觉中就聊了1个多小时。你知道吗？他住在阿尔卑斯山的山顶上。
You want to see? Well, the outside doesn't look.
Yeah, that's right. That's the exciting part.
This is my view.
Wow,
Of
man.
course, you can't see the mountains right now.
认识不经意的人，享受在迷路中，这就是我们旅行的乐趣。
所以今天呢，就给大家介绍一下我们认识的这个朋友，他的名字叫 Barbara Kern， 然后呢，我们就叫他中文名叫芭芭拉。一会儿我就跟他聊一聊，然后看看他是个什么样的生活方式，对我们俩来说至少有很多的启发。Hi Barbara, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Lily.
So great that we met you on the bus. To my surprise, I feel like we just started to chat very easily. You know, like for Asian people, like our age, normally we don't talk to strangers. My husband started to talk to you, but then I said, okay, I better check this person. So actually, I look at your website, and you give me the logo. I found this turtle myself. I have one.
That's
So
gorgeous.
beautiful, right?
Yes.
在车上他就很兴奋地告诉我说他给他公司找了个新的图标，就是乌龟，后边咱们会介绍。This is what she said she is. So that really kind of built up the trust from there on.
I'm glad to hear that. I have an ability apparently that I can approach people very easily. These days, you never know who you talk to. There's so much fakeness out there. But I really had a great time. And we literally talked from the minute you got on the bus to the time we left.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half actually. Thinking
Yes,
about that
yes.
road. Yeah, so I was very fascinated by, like your story. What I remember the most is I think you were born in Canada, Toronto. Your parents took you back to Switzerland. That's where they were from. When you were only 1 year old, right? But then you kind of, like a lot of teenagers, you went to Canada to work for a company, right?
Yes. I actually went back to Canada after I finished regular school at the age of 15. And then again, from 96 to 98, I worked in Toronto for a Swiss company, but I did go by myself. I had the permit to work. And so off I went.
When I was impressed that each year you spend about a quarter's time, right? 2 to 3 months, you can travel to wherever you want. And that is, I'm very jealous about. As we are working full time in the US here, normally my boss told me, your longest time, if I go back to China to see my family, the longest time I could have is 4 weeks. That's it. That's why I feel like I'm so jealous about those people, how they can fire their boss and then go on their own.
I have not been hired for a very, very long time. I don't even know what that is like. I'm hired by my own company. I have a limited company, so I'm actually hired by my own company, but I'm my own boss.
不是我们华人就是 never end working， 就觉得好像一天不工作就心里发慌啊。我很慌啊。再一个就是说呢，钱永远攒不够，是吧？你要是辞职了后1年损失好多钱呢，一大堆呢，是吧？所以说你觉得很痛苦，是吧？这个事情，这些心理上这个坎儿要越过去啊。
I was like I said, I was living in Canada in 98, and then my dad called me one day and said, I need to make some changes in my company. He had a boutique advertising and public relations agency, and I was doing the same work. And he called and he said, I want you to come, that we work together. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. And we worked together for 5 years. So I did not build the company. I was part of the founding when he founded it in 1993. It's a bit different. For me, I got into an already existing company, and we worked together for 5 years, and then he had to retire for health reasons, and I kept on with an employee for 17 years.
不是，这也是跟富裕有关系。你看，我们这华人的第2代、第3代人就没问题了，他们就完全是这样，包括大陆来的一些年轻的华人，是吧？他都没有问题，哪天一次工作出去云游去了。像我们这代是很难做到这一点的。
I already knew very, very early on that I will be my own boss at some point. I had that age. I said by 38, I'm going to have my own company. I managed
Whoa.
to get into my dad's company at the age of 30. I think that's just who I am.
I see the differences between Asians mindsets, like, and European or American. They are more independent on their own. The kids are now like doing whatever their parents told them to do, you know. For our generation, you know, like we normally obey our parents' will, like for us to go to college, try to find a job and have a family, all those kind of routine. The other thing I'm very impressed is you learn scuba diving in your early 50s. You know, I'm kind of a little bit risk taker more than Leo, but I want to do diving. I want to jump the airplane, you know, I have that spirit. However, I feel like I haven't taken so much actions.
When I take off longer periods of time and go somewhere, I always want to learn something new. When I went to Mexico, I want to do something new. And I didn't really think all that long about it. Like, okay, I'm going to learn how to scuba dive. And then I don't think too much about it. I just make a decision. It feels good. And then I go about it. So I got to Mexico and I started the course. And obviously, when they tell you what you're going to do during that day, I kind of like, what did I get myself into? You know? But then I'm like, okay, there's other people that have managed to do it. So you just do one thing at a time. If you're uncomfortable, you just take an extra breath, you know. That's really something that I've learned a lot, to connect with my breath. When I feel anxious or nervous or not quite comfortable, I really get still and I go within. And so I got through these 4 days. It has literally completely changed even my approach to the breath, to breathing, which I've already done a lot through my yoga teacher training, obviously. The older I get, the more quiet. I love it. And that's why it's nice to be living in the mountains away from a whole lot of people. I decide when I want to go out and communicate with people. And it's really, really also changed a lot of what I do on a daily basis. As much enjoyment as it is, this is quite a risky pastime, you know. So many things can go wrong, but they don't have to if you're really present in what you're doing. And that's something that I take not just in my life, but also in my work. When I work with my clients, I think presence is one of the most important things that is lacking these days.
Mm-hmm. You're very athletic, right? You know, like you share me some of those skiing you had in the mountains, living on top of the Alps. How, you know, whenever I see that video or picture, I feel, wow, it's like top of the world, you know, that feeling like the Lion King kind of thing, right? Like you feel like, yeah, you know, that reminds me of Chinese idiom, you know, like 上九天揽月，下五洋捉鳖. Oh, that's kind of live the life to its fullness. So this reminds me about your company. What you do for living is like you want to encourage people to live their lives to its fullness, right? How did you do that?
I think it's very important that we are very much in the moment, to really be present and be aware of what's going on. I think it's a state of calmness in a way, where whatever is happening in the outside doesn't matter what's happening in here. So, and when you get to that point, it's like you're in flow, and then things are starting to come in, like we met on the bus. You know, I had so many encounters on this last trip in Mexico that were just not, before I would have said, oh, that's a coincidence, you know. No, coincidences don't exist. This is really the universe in flow. Everything is energy. And so I really try to get to the core of people, that they are able to connect with their deep inner self, that voice that everybody has. Children have it. People call it intuition. Children have it, and then you get older and you're being put in a box, and you need to do this and you need to do that. And then you start losing it and you don't even realize it, you know. To really connect and then just put one foot in front of the other, learning by doing. I do a lot of learning by doing. A lot of people they always want something else. They have brown hair, they want it blonde. They have curly, they want it straight. They have blue eyes, they want brown eyes. There's some things you can't change. They are what they are. So be grateful what you have and make the best of it.
As we age, I think that is something we can gain. You gain more confidence. We're not going to be affected by whatever is going on around us in the world. I feel like since 2023, this new year, there's so many things going on. The war continues. It's 1 year already. We don't talk about politics, but you inspired me. Like I feel like, we can do a lot of things that we used to think, maybe at certain age, we're not supposed to do something, That is a kind of box we added to ourselves. Leo is curious to know financial part because his job is dealing with finances, every day. We too at the stage are right now, kids are gone to college. We need to pay their tuitions, which are very expensive in the US here. But okay, they're within the States. It's not too bad. So we were thinking about when can we retire? When can we do travel as freely as you or can do more things, adventures? How much money do we need to have? What do you think about that?
See, the thing, my relationship with money is just, it's there to be used. Obviously you need money in order to travel, but you can make decisions how you want to travel. Do you want to go to 5-star hotels all the time?
Yeah.
Do you want to eat out at expensive restaurants? I think it's really to make conscious choices, to ask yourself what is important in life and what do you want to do. I decide according, and if I have that feeling of, that's a bit too expensive, I'd rather do something else. That with that amount of money, I can almost be in Mexico for a month. I don't buy a whole lot of clothes anymore. A lot of people don't realize that they can save a lot of money just by not going out to restaurants on a week. Even when I travel, I'm staying in Airbnbs a lot. I cook for myself, and then obviously I can spend it on a more expensive dive day. And so it's really making choices. It's like with everything in life.
People just quit their jobs, especially during pandemic. Some people lost their jobs. Some people started to travel around the world, and they used the word like poor traveling, something like that, like cut the cost and different ways. Traveling, through hotels, it's really not healthy either, right? Conscious choice is a very accurate description. I know some of my friends, they will always say that, I have, like a parents to take care of, or, our kids, or my husband doesn't want to travel, or my son doesn't like to go with us. So I don't want to travel alone. So I know you travel alone, like sometimes. So do you feel like lonely traveling alone, or actually it's the opposite? You have more opportunity to meet more people.
I think being an only child teaches you to, be comfortable with yourself. When my parents passed away, I thought I'm going to be traveling less. I did a lot of traveling with them. They both passed away in a very short period of time. It was actually quite the contrary. I'm traveling much more, and I'm going away for longer periods of time. I'm never lonely. I never feel bored. I love my own company, and obviously when you travel on your own, you have more opportunities to meet people if you're open, you need to be open. Sometimes I don't want to interact with people, then I just don't go out. When I travel, I love it. I love that meeting people, and it helps obviously when you speak the language where you're traveling to. You're much faster in connecting with locals, and it has opened doors for me. I have friends, and they're my family now because I don't have family anymore. They are all over the world, a lot in South America, Central America, a lot of the States. That is really filling my heart to have these conversations with people. Also with, people from different cultures. Like when you say that Asian Chinese people they're planners, they're not so spur of the moment deciders. This is always something that I'm learning, when you say it makes sense, but it's just not in my head. And I think that's the even more interesting part. You get to know another culture through keeping in touch with people.
Why people do certain things in a certain way, it has kind of a long tradition or culture embedded in their blood, I think. Do you have any retirement plan, or you never want to retire?
For me, I love to work. So I've been living like a retired person for many years. And I didn't think that this is going to happen. It just happened. So I can keep on working anywhere in the world where I am. All I need is internet.
Yeah, I heard some people call this semi-retirement or a kind of a hybrid model. So this is the benefit of being your own boss, of course. Yes. Wow, sounds very exciting. I really enjoyed talking to you, Barbara.
Thank you.
We want to retire early also to be on the road soon.
Yeah. Well, it starts here.
Yes,
with everything in life, everything starts in the head. How you have the mindset that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have people say, well, but you need time and money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you know that, then you'll find a way to do it.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that you have to retire from 1 minute to the next,
Yeah.
You can go step by step. Good luck with learning how to dive.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll let you know when I start taking the training.
Yes, please.
One
day we'll go dive together in Mexico.
Yeah, I hope so. We can have a 5-year plan. I think I will definitely be able to learn it in the next 5 years.
That's
a little bit time.
That's too long.
You want to see? Well, the outside doesn't look.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
the exciting part.
Mountains is
it's a bit covered. We're having a bit of funny weather. Sometimes it's sunny. So this is my view.
Wow, man.
Unfortunately, you can't see the mountains right now.
Yeah.
我们的采访基本上就这样结束了哈。然后呢，我不知道你有什么想法？你觉得他说的话有道理吗？我觉得咱们现在年轻人很多，但是我们传统的像我们这辈的这个人，我觉得还是挺不够的。不知道你有什么想法呀？欢迎留言。旅游改变你的认知，旅游总有想不到的事情，跟着我们继续走吧。